welcome all who enter here. This week we explore the land of dreams and visions. Let's begin. Many people consider nightmares and dreams to be fantasy. However, there are those of us who think otherwise. Some of us believe dreams can come true, or at least warn you of the future. So begins my first tale. It's simply called a warning of death. When I was a boy, I was raised on a farm in Tennessee. It was one of the few times I did not own a dog. We did have a nanny goat and her kid. They escaped and were chased into the woods by the cattle we had. While there, the mother goat was butchered by our neighbor's dogs. As a kid, ran back to the barn seeking shelter. I raised her to an adult, and she followed me everywhere. She would chew on the screen door when I went inside the house. We had some wicker furniture, and she would even chew the chair that I was sitting in on the front porch. She would follow me around like a dog. And that is when the dreams began that warned me of her death to come. In my dream, me and my family drove up to the mountains, which we had plenty to choose from in Tennessee. For some reason, my goat was up there playing. She was running around, acting silly, around a large pipe that came out of the ground. Out of that pipe came a little demon. As my goat, Snowflake, got closer to the pipe, she did not notice the demon, but I did. The odd thing about this dream was that I had the exact same dream 2 weeks later. During this time, our goat, or my goat, decided to play and follow with the family dog. Those two were inseparable. I did not realize the danger she was in. 2 weeks after the first dream, I had another. It was exactly alike. Once again, I did not know the danger my goat was in. 2 weeks after that last dream, the dog decided to go play in the woods The goat, of course, went with him. While in the woods, the dog ran into the same dogs that killed the goat's mom. Now, I love dogs. I do. But when chasing something and when part of a pack, a dog doesn't really think but follows in the pack. The dogs tore my little goat to pieces, just like they did her mom. They did not eat her, just kill her. The warning I got was in a dream, and that was the first time I began to pay attention to what I dreamed about, which I still do to this day. Vision. I have been a pagan for well over 10 years. And being a pagan, I have learned a few secrets about nature. One thing is always be observant. Look for signs. You will learn more just being quiet and paying attention to the world than you will being noisy. When I first became a pagan, I had a sacred area. It was my grove. I would go there and worship, pray, and do rituals in honor of the gods. The place to me became very sacred, even if it was at the edge of the woods. The weird thing is, I never saw any animals in my sacred spot. Oh, I would find a snake or two outside of that area. But ants, insects, no. No deer tracks, nothing. So it was very odd for me to see 3 crows playing in my sacred grove. I knew something was immediately wrong. I called my girlfriend, the one I'm still with today, and asked her if everything was okay. It was not. You see, her grandmother had a Chihuahua that she loved. His name was JJ. Being a Chihuahua, he was loud, often trying to intimidate everyone by being aggressive. But for those of us that knew him, He was just an active puppy. Earlier that day, he was attacked. Well, he was slaughtered. When he went out earlier to do his business in the backyard, no one knew that the neighbor let their child out at the same time. The child was very aggressive and did not like any of the dogs, or people for that matter. So when the child saw JJ, he chased him to the door. Unfortunately, Grandma is in a wheelchair and she couldn't get to the door quick enough. The child ripped a chunk out of JJ's side, bleeding and dying. He did not last the rest of the night. He had his problems, but no dog decided none of them should pass from this earth in that way. I knew something was wrong because I saw those 3 crows. And I pay attention to what I see in nature. The hag. Many of us have nightmares. I don't. I have a reason for that. You see, people are so afraid of demons and devils, and they can be nasty. But for those of us from the old world or old religions, believe in something way nastier than demons. We believe in mystical beings called the Fae, or if you will, the fairy folk. Now this includes sprites, such as Tinkerbell from Peter Pan. But it also includes leprechauns, elves, dwarves, and yes, even trolls. You can never trust the Fae. They are very deceitful and tricky. Many people did believe and still believe that nightmares are part of the Fae as well. So begins my tale. The dream I had, I was in my home, and I left to pick up my mother, just to come over for a visit. When I returned, there was 2 old women, or hags, in my home. I invoked the name of my goddesses and told them they are not welcome. but the hags only laughed. Although they looked old and frail, these fae were powerful. My mom entered the house behind me, and when she did, she couldn't breathe. The air had become so thin, she was, struggling to breathe. Both hags laughed. I told them to stop, and they only laughed harder. So I grabbed the closest one to me, gripping her long, thin, gray hair. And before she could fight me off, with a violent twist, I broke her skinny neck. Seeing this, the other hag, of course, ran away. That was when I woke up from my nightmare. And the funny thing is, that was several years ago, and I still do not have nightmares. I also learned how to be more aware of myself in dreams. I know many of you don't believe this is true. But I have experienced some strange things being a pagan. Some fantastic and truly terrifying instances. But I swear to you, they're all true. If you enjoy this video and wish to see more, I only ask you one small favor. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and feel free to comment. This small favor helps the channel to grow. Thank you. I also post new videos every weekend. By Sunday, the video will be posted. Unfortunately, my work schedule won't let me post videos very much on Friday nights anymore. So until next time, beware of the Shadowlands.